Cheesy the Podcast, presented by Just Cheesy Productions.
Hi there, I'm your host Fondue.
I'm Cheesy.
In this week's episode, we're talking all about cheesemonger.
What's a monger?
We're gonna find out what the heck it is and how many types exist.
Ooh.
We're gonna talk about the American woman who just won a prestigious cheesemonger competition, and of course,
Ooh la la.
we're gonna tell a very cheesy joke.
Ha joke.
Get ready for episode 104, Cheesemonger. I'm ready for my favorite segment.
This week in cheese.
According to a podcast on NPR.org, there's a woman from Philadelphia who won a very prestigious cheesemonger competition in France.
Ooh la la.
We'll come back to her,
Okay.
but let's talk about the monger.
Yeah.
Back in Season 1, Episode 16, we talked a little bit about mongers.
Oh, that's right.
According to the 1956 edition of Webster's New World Dictionary,
Whoa.
a monger is a dealer or a trader, usually in compounds, like a fishmonger, sometimes used figuratively and sometimes used derogatorily, as in a scandalmonger. But what does that really mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's basically someone that sells something or
Oh.
deals in something. And there are so many.
So many.
From what I can tell, there's probably hundreds of them.
Hundreds.
Many of the monger definitions are literal.
Yeah.
So a fishmonger is someone who sells fish.
Fish.
An applemonger sells apples,
Apples.
and so on.
Yeah.
There's a website called sesquicotic.com, and man, this thing has a ton.
A ton.
I'm gonna run through a few of these.
Okay.
Airmonger, alemonger, applemonger, balladmonger, barbermonger,
Whoa.
beermonger, bloodmonger, bookmonger,
Book.
breadmonger, coalmonger, cornmonger,
Corn.
feathermonger, garlicmonger, hairmonger,
Hair.
haymonger, horsemonger. There's
Whoa.
an ironmonger, pearmonger,
Pear?
saltmonger, a watermonger, a winemonger, a wiremonger,
What?
and even a woolmonger. That's
Whoa.
just to list a few.
A few.
Then there are the figurative ones, which
Oh.
we've been hearing a lot lately.
Here we have.
Like warmonger, scaremonger, rumormonger, powermonger,
Ooh.
fearmonger, moneymonger, and even scandalmonger.
Monger,
The
monger,
term
monger.
monger goes back over 1,000 years and traces its roots to a Latin noun meaning trader.
Whoa.
According to Merriam-Webster, it was initially an honorable term. But every profession has its bad apples, they
Oh.
say, and snake oil salesmen of the bunch gave monger a bad reputation. They say
Whoa.
by the middle of the 16th century, the term often implied that a merchant was dishonorable or contemptible.
Ooh.
The definition can be a broker or dealer, or a person who attempts to stir up or spread something that is usually petty or discreditable.
Oh, no.
We found a few that were really interesting.
Yeah.
On the literal side, we found a hatmonger and a toymonger,
Oh, yeah.
just exactly as they sound.
Yeah.
We also found a dungmonger,
Dung.
or also called a manure monger.
Poo.
According to news.wttw.com, there were people who would sweep horse manure into a vault in the alley back in 1918.
Ew.
The manure monger was the guy who got to scoop out the manure from the vaults and cart it off.
Ugh.
And they say this was a pretty important job because they wanted to
Okay.
keep the streets free of horse manure, which was very necessary back in the days before the automobile.
Ew.
The article specifically talked about Chicago, where there were 83,000 horses.
83,000.
That would be a lot of manure.
Holy cow.
One horse creates about 40 to 50 pounds of manure a day on average.
What?
And you'd have to multiply that by about 83,000.
Whoa.
So even on the low end, they say that's over 1,500 tons of dung just in a single day.
Holy cow.
And although they were pretty good about getting the manure out, they had manure vaults, which was one strategy, and then
Oh.
burning it was another.
Oh.
The best thing was technology, namely the automobile.
Whoa.
Maybe you don't want to be a dungmonger.
Nope.
Well, there's something called a jestmonger.
Like us.
Maybe that's us, you're right.
Yeah.
It's just as you would imagine.
It is?
A jestmonger is someone who tells jokes.
That is us.
No mongers have sponsored this episode, but if
Nope.
they had, their ad would go right here. Have you ever wanted to listen to the web?
Yeah.
Well, Newsly makes that possible.
They do.
They're an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android.
Super app.
You can listen to trending articles on the web on topics that you choose and get them read to you in a natural human voice.
What kind of topics?
Sports,
Cheese?
tech, business, science.
Cheese?
I'm sure there's even cheese.
Yay.
They even have an entire section for podcasts.
Are we there?
Of course we are.
Ooh.
It's one of my new favorite podcast apps. They even have digital radio.
Holy cow.
Just go to www.newsly.me to download it free.
Whoa.
Or use the link in the description. If you use the promo code CHEESY,
Cheesy.
that'll get you 1 month free premium subscription.
Yay. Newsly.
Now, back to the podcast. According to NPR.org, in a podcast called All Things Considered, Scott Detrow interviews the famous Emilia Del Barro, who is the first American to win the title of Best Cheesemonger in the world.
Yay!
She has a great description of what a cheesemonger actually is.
Okay.
She describes it as someone who specializes in the sale of cheese, butter, and other dairy products.
Whoa.
She says a cheesemonger is like what a sommelier is to wine or a butcher is to meat.
Wow.
And she says it's more than just cutting the cheese. According to her, they're responsible for storing, merchandising, and selling the cheese.
Whoa.
Their primary goal is to help you find exactly what you need in the cheese case.
Nice.
But now that we know what it is, let's talk about this competition.
Okay.
This is a big deal. This is an
Really?
international competition, and this is the first time that Americans have won.
Whoa.
According to her, the Americans have traditionally been the underdogs in the international cheese community.
Really?
She cites the fact that the U.S. is a very young country.
Oh, yeah.
And our cheese culture is not quite as developed as places like France or Italy.
Whoa.
And the other thing that makes this a big deal is these competitions are no joke.
Really?
According to wholesaleformaticum.com, they give us a layout of what exactly the ordeal would be like.
Wow.
This is called the Mondial du Fromage.
Ooh.
It's a biannual competition that takes place in Tours, France.
Ooh la la.
And according to them, this year's competition featured cheesemongers from 15 countries.
Whoa.
For Americans, you have to earn the chance to compete.
Really?
Here's what it takes.
Okay.
You have to earn it through 2 victories.
Okay.
First, you must place in the top 3 at the annual Cheesemonger Invitational.
Wow.
Cheesemongerinvitational.com talks about their competition.
Okay.
There's a written test,
Whoa.
a taste test,
What?
an aroma test, a cut test, paper wrap,
Whoa.
plastic wrap, salesmanship, perfect beverage, perfect slate, and perfect bite.
Whoa.
And these aren't just, hey, cut up a little bit of cheese. No.
They're not?
In Challenge 10 of the competition called Perfect Bite,
Ooh.
a contestant has 90 minutes
What?
to create 100 bite-sized portions of their pre-assigned cheese, and they have to pair them with items of their choosing.
Whoa.
Number 4 is no joke.
Okay.
45 seconds is all they get.
Whoa.
The contestant gets to weigh the random weight Alpine wedge only once
Whoa.
before producing a quarter-pound cut.
What?
They only get points awarded for their deviation from the quarter pound by 1/10 of a pound.
What?
Challenge 3, they have 3 minutes to correctly identify 5 distinct aromas with no other sensory cues.
Holy cow.
So let's say you win. You got your victory. You placed among the top 3 at the Cheesemonger Invitational.
Okay.
Then you have to earn one of the top 2 spots in the biannual Cheesemonger Invitational.
What?
A master's competition where the top 3 mongers from the past CMI events are invited to compete against other winners in hopes of hearing their name called to join Team USA.
Whoa.
This is the Olympics of cheese.
Yeah, it is.
The Masters competition mirrors the format of the Mondial du Fromage.
Okay.
There are 9 individual challenges.
Whew.
Good grief.
Yeah.
First is a written test on general cheese knowledge.
Okay.
Then a 5-minute presentation about the cheese of their choice.
Okay.
Then there's a blind tasting of 4 different cheeses cut into 1-centimeter squares, which are rindless.
Whoa.
And they have a perfect half-pound cut challenge. This involves a mystery cheese
Oh.
and no access to a scale.
Oh, wow.
This competition is unreal.
Yeah.
The day ends in a 4-hour marathon of cheesemongering.
Whoa.
They say contestants must put together a restaurant-quality cheese plate
Whoa.
using cheeses revealed only at the start of the test.
Ooh.
They have to assemble the bites perfectly. They have to present a cold dish that transforms an assigned cheese.
Holy cow.
And they have to build an intricate cheese sculpture and design and assemble a 1 square meter themed cheese display using over 100 pounds of
What?
provided mystery cheeses.
Holy cow.
Can you even imagine?
No.
And the training for this ordeal sounds like an athletic competition.
Yeah, it
the
does.
mongers have dedicated a minimum of 2 hours a day to preparing. This means recipe testing, studying flashcards,
Whoa.
blind tastings, and even endless practice sessions cutting cheese in creative and artistic ways.
Wow.
So you're saying to yourself, how do I become a cheesemonger? This sounds awesome.
Yeah?
According to the academyofcheese.org, there's a lot that has to be done. You have to develop a cheese passion, gain some knowledge and expertise, get hands-on experience,
Whoa.
go for certification, and develop your palate.
Whoa.
You're thinking to yourself, I want to be a monger too. Well, you can.
Really?
Academyofcheese.org has a great article called How to Become a Cheesemonger, A Delicious Journey.
Whoa.
You should check that out.
Yeah.
And there are a list of careers in cheese on a website called itsnotyouitsbrie.com.
Uh-huh.
Check out the link in our show notes for details.
I'm ready for a joke, folks. Fondue.
Okay. What do you call a fishmonger that tries to sell cheese?
I don't know.
Someone who's really floundering.
Oh, ha ha ha.
Get it?
I get it.
Oh, it wasn't bad, but it was unbelievable and a
Uh-huh.
little bit cheesy. Thanks for listening to Just Cheesy the Podcast, episode 104, Cheesemonger.
Thank you.
We really went down a rabbit hole this week learning about mongers.
We sure did.
We wanted to provide a list for you. Check out justcheesy.com and click on our blog to see them.
And stay cheesy, everybody.